Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Woohoo. Anyway, welcome to another exciting podcast of Truth Chat Fun. My name is Joe Oriani, and I am your host of this episode, this weekly episode that usually drops on Wednesday. Now, before I begin, there's a couple things I want to say. When I started this podcast, I had decided I wanted to do interviews, but a lot of people don't want to be interviewed. I don't know why. If you have skeletons in your closet, it's time to let them out. Boo, pretend it's Halloween. So anyway, apparently last week's episode on crime, everywhere there's crime, was a big hit. My YouTube just went sky high, and I'm happy with that. Not subscribers, but listeners, and that's okay. It's a hit. Now, what I like to do is tell you a little bit more. My website, if you want to check it out, and you go to the top right-hand corner on the menu, you can see all my videos. It's www.truthchat.fun. Okay, just like that. And you can leave me a voicemail, you can leave me an email, or you can go to my Yahoo, which is Joe Oriani Podcast at yahoo.com, or my Twitter, which is Oriani Joe3, and I will respond to all messages. Just to let you know, I will never lie to you. I say that in almost every podcast I do. I have no reason to lie to you because when I get up in the morning, I got to look in that mirror and look myself straight in the eyes and say, did you lie to all them people that are watching you? And the answer is no. I will give my opinion on everything but abortion because I don't have a uterus, so I have no idea. If you have any suggestions of friends or people who want to be interviewed, no matter what country you're in, we could do it by Zoom. It's easy to do. Just leave me a message. I always do talking to people. I'm trying to get other people, other podcasters to come on. We'll see how that goes. Now, I have listed all the countries that are listening to me now, that have people that are listening to me. So I decided to do another one of those episodes where I just kind of list everything that's going on in the news within particular countries. I found it very enlightening on some of them. But I am going to start out with the United States. If you are a food delivery person in the United States, here in Florida, last week, a guy married, a couple of kids, was making his last drop of food, and he wasn't seen from again until the next day. He was cut up in pieces by some idiot from MS-13. I tried to rob him in the house. I guess it didn't work out too well, and he got cut up and chopped up. Talk about having your food delivered. Ugh. Now, on the same subject, let's talk about Iran for a second, because it was on top of the news here in the United States that Iran stole the oil tanker. Don't you have your own? Dude, is a breaker. And the IRS here in the United States, the Internal Revenue Service, the people they're hiring are going to be carrying guns. Now, I have to ask you, if I owe the IRS $20, is someone with a gun going to come knocking at my door and saying, give me your money? It's like a stick up every April 15th anyway. They just take your money. And then also, on top of the news here, is Ukraine. Ukraine apparently is getting ready for the counteroffensive. I like to wish my friends in Ukraine good luck. And I don't understand why Putin still gets upset over it. If you invade my country, I'm coming after you too. I think Moscow would be a nice target, but that's just me. The old guy in me saying, hey, you hit me, I'm going to hit you back. All right. Now, a guy came out. Oh, you'll love this story. This is great. I don't know how many of you heard this story. A guy went to a restaurant with his girlfriend. He pulled up, and the guy said to him, it's $40 for parking. The guy nicely pays him his $40. He walks into the restaurant, and the driver says to the people in the restaurant, the maitre d', oh, I paid the $40 for the parking. And the maitre d' says to him, we don't have parking. So the guy got pissed off, walked out to his car, got his gun, and shot the guy who was trying to rip him off. I mean, talk about payback. Here's another one. This is all good news because the world's crazy. On the verge of World War III as it is. we're all going to be speaking Mandarin soon if we don't stop. So anyway, a Texas man was asked to stop shooting his rifle in his front lawn. The family that asked him didn't realize that the guy would get angry, walk over and kill 5 people, shot him in the head in that family, including an 8-year-old. Yes, an 8-year-old, which is AR-15. I could read stories like this all day. It ain't just the United States. I heard somebody say to me once, because I carry my own gun, so I don't really care. I had training, I was in the Army, I'm fine, I'm careful with it, keep it locked up. I'm not that far locked up where I couldn't get it if somebody came in the front door. But a gun does not get up, knock on your door, and say, here, use me today. Like these school shootings. The gun does not walk up to one of these kids and say, hey, I'm outside your door. You want to come get this gun? Come get me, and let's go have some fun. No, it's the people. There's a mental problem all throughout this world, and mental issues should be taken care of. I remember years ago, they used to have what we call joking back then. And I know this is not politically correct. That's the other thing I would tell you, new listeners. I am never going to be politically correct. They were called the sane asylums. That's what we call them. But people in there were treated really badly and stuff. But I think if you take all the homeless that have mental problems and put them in a facility, you're doing it for illegals, put them in a facility, put them in a hotel and treat them. Not just leave them there, give them the medication, treat them, make sure there's nurses there, sort of like a hospital. And I think it'd be pretty good. That's my solution. All right, the coronation of King Charles is coming up May 6th. I will be on a cruise then, so I don't have to listen to it the whole time. But I will be dropping an episode while I'm on a cruise. I will do that this Wednesday. Every Wednesday, I want to keep it up with consistency. All right, sent 2 drones and blew up an oil depot in Crimea. And I looked at the pictures and it looked like a giant mushroom cloud. And in the Ukraine, the Mirror has a nice picture of King Charles, but also an article on how only 2% want Queen Carmela. I will be on a cruise when he gets coronated. Thank God I don't have to watch the whole thing. Though sometimes the pageantry is very nice and the British do it up very well. But I can't deal with the king, Prince Harry, Meghan. Meghan ain't going, so it's probably a blessing in disguise. Stop the drama. She'll cry after it's over with. Oh, I didn't want to say happy birthday to Archie. In Helsinki, the Helsinki Times says the following article, and I'm going to read it here because it's interesting. The 6 largest cities in Finland are calling for action for the new government to address the shortage of qualified personnel in early learning childhood education. Currently, there's a shortage of over 2,000 early childhood education teachers and social workers in these cities, which will only worsen as the proportion of qualified staff in daycare needs to be increased according to the new Early Childhood Education Act, which came into force in 2018. By 2030. All teachers in every place is getting rare. So Finland, I feel sorry for you. I don't think we have. I haven't been to school so long. When I got there, I went in stupid, come out the same way. But and since I got thrown out at 17 and joined the Army, I don't know too much about it. I try to stay away from schools as much as I can because I think sometimes street smarts is better. But anyway, a lot of the teachers here, I don't remember calling social workers. You may have one on property, maybe an advisor is what we had. We had a disciplinarian in high school. We used to call him Clark Kent because that's exactly who he looked like, built like Superman. You dreaded going in his office. I spent a lot of time there until I got thrown out. Anyway, that's another story for another day. You don't want to hear all that stuff. Now let's talk about Germany. Okay. In Germany, in Berlin, climate activists stopped traffic by gluing themselves to the road. Now, I'm sorry, you may be stopping an ambulance, you may be stopping a policeman, you may be stopping somebody who has to go somewhere to a doctor's appointment. gluing yourself to a street is only going to delay traffic, back it up, and make more carbon emissions. Now, when I looked at that picture of those kids doing it, first of all, they look all like kids except for one guy. They all look like children, and they had on sneakers. Are they aware sneakers are made from petroleum products? They had on jewelry. Are they aware it's made from petroleum products? They are people aware, even with the electric car. Let's talk about the electric cars again. I like talking about them. The battery's on the bottom, so if you run through a puddle, poof, fire. It costs you a fortune to get a battery replaced. They don't make them here in the United States. You got to get them from China. We get everything from China. China's not our friend. We need to do something. So you have the electric cars, like, yeah, you got to charge them. Now, the other day I heard the secretary of somebody on a stand say they want to have all military vehicles run on electric. I'm sorry, if you're out in a Jeep, they said motorized. They didn't say anything specific, but let's take a Jeep. You're out, you got to go fast. You're in the Jeep, it's electric. You charge it, your battery dies. What do you do? Stop and charge your Jeep 4 hours? Or a tank for 4 hours? Where are these pumps, by the way? And is the grid going to be able to hold that electricity like New York State? I know some of the reporters here in this country made fun of the Republicans because they said that we said that they're going to take away your gas stoves. No. In California, that's almost done. Now New York's trying to pass the same bill in the budget. No gas stoves. Every chef worth his grain of salt would tell you cannot cook a decent meal without being on a gas stove. Electric stoves are nice, but again, will the grid handle it? It's going to cost the consumer a lot of money. Oh, by the way, the people who were sitting there in that little gloomy and stuff, first of all, when I was younger, we used to sniff that stuff, so I know how bad it could be sitting on it. But they were wearing glasses too. That's another petroleum item. Nobody's thinking anything through. It's great. You want to save the environment, but let's talk about clean air, clean water. Yeah, clean stuff, not changing. We could be here energy efficient in the United States. We were 3 years ago. You get what you vote for, folks. You keep voting that way. Don't complain to me. Anyway, all right, let's go to Taiwan. In a recent Taiwan survey commissioned by the Institute for National Defense and Security Research showed that 55% of Taiwanese thought the U.S. would send forces to defend the nation against an invasion, while 37% believe no aid would come. I'm going to side with the 37%. We can't even get out of Afghanistan right. We don't do anything to help anybody else. We don't have the money. We don't have the will. We don't have the resources. Taiwan should be stocked with weapons right about now. The 7th Fleet should be over there, sitting there in them little waters between China and them, and just hanging out, having a good time. Get some shore leave. Go see the girls. Do something. But they should be there. And you got Japan, who's going to go military now, who has done that since World War II. They'll help out a little bit. I don't know about Vietnam or Thailand. I know Australia. But you know what? Don't depend on the United States, folks. Not now. You really shouldn't do it ever. The Vietnam War, I'm a Vietnam vet. I will tell you, straight up, we lost that war. That's a given. We did not win the Vietnam War. We lost that one. Just as we probably lost the Korean War, too. They settled. It's still going on because it was an armistice, not a surrender treaty. In Niagara, in Nicaragua. I'm tongue-tied this morning. No fewer than 16 passengers were burnt to death in Odium. I can't pronounce it. Alide local council of Umsun State said. Now I could spell that for you. It's ODE-OUMU. When a gas cylinder in a vehicle exploded, leading to a fire outburst. Apparently, one car hit another. The Mercedes had a gas tank in the back in the trunk and go boom. 16 people burnt to death on a highway. That's awful. I can't even come up with a good news story today, except the sun's out here in Florida. All right. Let's talk about The Guardian. gathered that the fateful accident occurred on Friday after two vehicles collided. It was gathered, finally right, it's gathered on the article. So it was gathered that a commercial Mazda bus coming from OSO GBO had a collision with the private Lexus car coming from someplace else. But the Mazda, which had a big gas cylinder in its trunk, lost control immediately, was hit by a Lexus, swerved into a bush where it ignited fire. And one of the eyewitnesses disclosed that 16 bodies, including 5 children, were removed from the burnt vehicle, while 3 passengers and the driver of the affected bus escaped injuries. I would say something here, but what are you doing driving around with a big freaking tank of gas in your car, you moron? Probably propane or something stupid. I'll tell you that. I mean, it's bad enough here. We have Route 4 in Florida, which has more casualties than any other highway in the country. Route 27, another one. If you go up to Disney from where I live, people die every day. Route 4 every day. You drive Route 4 to go to Tampa from where I am, it's an hour drive. But if you're doing 70 miles an hour, some idiots doing 90 and going in and out of the cars. And I sit there and say to myself, where's a cop when you want one? You go 75, 80, and you'll find a cop. I was driving one day home from work at Disney, and it was really funny because Route 4 has 3 lanes. The right lane for the fast people, middle lane for maybe nonchalant, and the slow lane, which is to go to speed limit. I decided it was dark. I was going to go to speed limit. And I'm driving. Now, I had a car to my left, and he had a car to his left. Some guy comes up behind me and flashing his high beams. Over to my right was a ditch. I'm like, let's see, I'm in a slow lane. I'm going to speed limit. Screw you. And he flashes high beams, so I fix my mirror so it flashes back in his eyes. And I'm like, where am I going to go? I can't go left. And I sure the hell ain't going right. So anyway, these people have no sense. I always say when people speed, they're just in a rush to die. Please don't let me be at your funeral. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Okay. And New Zealand. New Zealand National wants to knock more than 22,000 off nurses and midwives' student loans to encourage them to stay in New Zealand for 5 years and stop graduates from being excessively recruited overseas. Now, you know what? Unlike here, where we just want to forgive student loan and just tell them have a nice day, that's a very good idea. It's an incentive to stay and to help things out. You can use it. You don't want them people who you're educating to leave. We do that here. We have, and it's funny, it just came to the back of my mind that we have Chinese come over here, they study in universities and go back to China. And the point is, who knows? But anyway, that's about all the news for this week. But again, I just want to tell you, if you have any suggestions or people want to be interviewed, please go to the website. I did get flagged last week for song that I put at the end of this podcast that YouTube said wasn't right, but I argued with them and it was. I paid to play that song, so we shall see. And remember one thing, if you're not laughing, you're not living. And for everybody on this planet, please try. Forget it. You can go to church on Sunday, pray for world peace. And I told the minister one day, ain't gonna happen. Too many crazies out there. Oh, bingo, church is over. So anyway, I do want everybody to be careful. And again, if you have any people that has a story they want to tell, a story they want to share, how the education was, got from one place to another, or if I miss a story or if I miss a country, please go to the website so I know. I take any suggestions other than nasty ones. I don't do abortion. Like I said, I don't have a uterus, so I'm not going to do it. So again, I just hope that everyone here has a safe and nice week. This will come out Wednesday, and next Wednesday, even though I'm on a cruise, another one will drop. I do just want to add one more thing. Well, hopefully I do this right. I'm not good at editing. Anyway, if you have any friends, please tell them about podcast. The more hits I get, the better. And you want to donate, you can go to the website or just support us by clicking that link to YouTube or clicking on the website. I really appreciate it. Thank you. But in the meantime, aloha. Oh, that's Hawaii. Goodbye. Have a good day.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.
Anxiety, filling up every space, no privacy. And silently, it could build and build until you finally see, whoa, it's taking over, damn no closure, moving closer. No exposure, I just wanna be a loner. Some can't stay sober, looking over all their shoulders, like moving boulders just to get out of the home. It sucks, I've had enough, I don't wanna feel the stuck under the rug, all my problems that I shove.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.
I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough. Nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough. Nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. It sucks when you finally feel like giving up. Oh God, no luck. Everything feels like you're sticky stuck. I'm lost, handcuffed to the bed where I sleep. Don't give a fuck, can't stop. Unplug, feeling overwhelmed. I think I've had enough. Gotta find a way to get some energy. Gotta find someone who's a good friend of me. I need purpose to make it all worth it. I'm still searching and I'm still learning. I want a life that's filled with memories, not a life with regret in front of me. I need focus to keep me from hopeless psychosis if I keep moping.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.
I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough. Nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough. Nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff.